The trophy case shattered as 26-year-old Harper Sinclair's state boxing championship award smashed through the glass. Thrown by the muscular senior who'd cornered her in the empty hallway at 7:15 a.m. "Female teachers shouldn't act tough," Derek Vaughn snarled, his football captain's ring glinting as he advanced on the petite English teacher who dared fail him for plagiarism. Nobody knew that the quiet new teacher who wore cardigans and graded papers during lunch had spent 12 years in the ring, earning a Golden Gloves title before choosing education over professional boxing. They were about to find out why that mattered. Harper's first day at Westbrook Academy in Cedar Heights had started 3 weeks ago with hope and fresh lesson plans. The prestigious private school served the children of senators, CEOs, and old money families who'd built the town's fortune on coal and corruption. She'd left her coaching position at a rough inner-city gym to pursue her teaching dream, trading boxing gloves for red pens and believing she could make a difference through literature instead of left hooks. The honeymoon period lasted exactly 4 days. "Miss Sinclair," Derek Vaughn had announced during her sophomore English class, not bothering to raise his hand. "My dad says female teachers are just failed housewives looking for easy paychecks." The classroom had gone silent. 15 students watched to see how their new teacher would handle the mayor's son, the boy whose family name was on the football stadium, the library, and half the buildings in town. Harper had set down her marker with deliberate calm. "That's an interesting perspective, Derek. Perhaps you can explore it in your essay on gender roles in The Scarlet Letter. Due Friday." His face had flushed red. "I don't write essays. Check your email. My mother already sent my paper." "Then your mother will receive an F. I grade students, not parents." The gauntlet was thrown. Over the following weeks, Derek's harassment escalated with calculated precision. He'd accidentally knock her coffee off her desk. He'd play explicit music from his phone during lessons, claiming technical difficulties. He organized his football teammates to submit identical essays, testing whether she'd dare fail the entire varsity squad 3 weeks before homecoming. She failed them all. "You have no idea what you've done." Jessica Vaughn, Derek's mother and president of the school board, had hissed during an after-school ambush in Harper's classroom. "We donate $2 million annually to this school. You're a 26-year-old nobody who thinks she can change how things work here." "I think students should earn their grades," Harper had replied evenly. "Revolutionary concept." "I know." "You'll learn, Mrs." Vaughn had said, her designer heels clicking on the linoleum as she left. "Everyone learns eventually." The next morning, Harper found her car tires slashed in the faculty lot. Security cameras had mysteriously malfunctioned. Her classroom windows were spray-painted with words that made the janitor blush as he scrubbed them clean. Someone had posted her salary information on every bulletin board with "overpaid" written in red marker. But Harper had grown up in South Chicago, where her father ran a boxing gym for at-risk youth. She'd learned to take punches at 8 years old and throw them back at 9. She'd survived broken noses, cracked ribs, and competitors who fought dirty when the ref wasn't looking. A entitled rich boy playing intimidation games was child's play compared to facing down a desperate opponent who needed the prize money to eat. She documented everything, every incident, every threat, every small act of harassment went into a folder she kept locked in her desk. Her father had taught her that the best defense was preparation, and she was building her case with the methodical patience of a fighter, studying her opponent's weaknesses. The breaking point came on a Tuesday morning. Harper arrived at 6:45 a.m. to find her classroom destroyed, desks overturned, books torn from their spines, her personal items scattered and broken. On the whiteboard, someone had written "Last warning, bitch" in permanent marker. She was photographing the damage when Derek and two teammates appeared in the doorway. "Shame about your room," Derek said, not bothering to hide his smirk. "Maybe you should consider a job more suited to your gender, like kindergarten or stripping." "Did you do this?" Harper asked, continuing to document the scene. "Prove it," he laughed. "Oh, wait, you can't. Just like you can't prove I cheated on those essays. Just like you can't prove anything. You know why? Because this is our school. My family built it. My grandfather hired the first teachers, and no little girl playing dress-up is going to change that." Harper felt the familiar calm descend, the same focus that had carried her through 68 amateur fights. "Get out of my classroom." "Or what?" Derek stepped inside, his friends flanking him. "You'll give me detention. You'll call my mommy. You don't get it. We own you. We own this place. And if you don't fix my grade by tomorrow, things are going to get much worse." "I said, get out." Derek grabbed her desk, flipping it over with casual violence, papers scattered like snow. "Make me." That's when Harper noticed the trophy in his hand. Her trophy. The state championship she'd won at 18. The one she kept on her shelf as a reminder of where she'd come from. He must have taken it from her desk drawer. "Pretty little trophy for a pretty little teacher," he mocked, tossing it from hand to hand. "Boxing, huh, what? You couldn't find a man, so you decided to act like one." His friends laughed. One of them, Connor Bradley, started recording on his phone. "Give it back," Harper said quietly. "I don't think so." Derek held it up to the light. "Harper Sinclair, state champion. Big deal. You know what this is worth." He turned and threw it full force at the trophy case in the hallway. The glass exploded in a shower of fragments, her championship trophy landing among the football awards and academic honors that lined Westbrook's walls. "Oops," Derek said. "Guess you'll have to clean that up." "Women are good at cleaning, right?" Harper walked past him into the hallway, glass crunching under her sensible flats. She picked up her trophy, noting the new dent in its base. Behind her, Derek and his friends followed, sensing blood in the water. "What's wrong? Teacher gonna cry. Gonna run to the principal." Derek grabbed her shoulder, spinning her around. "Newsflash. Principal Morrison golfs with my dad every Sunday. He's not going to help you." "I don't need help," Harper said. "Yeah, you think you're tough because you won some amateur trophy. You're nothing. You're a diversity hire who's about to learn what happens when you don't know your place." He shoved her. Hard. Harper stumbled back but kept her footing. Muscle memory from thousands of hours maintaining balance in the ring. "Touch me again," she said, "and you'll regret it." Derek laughed. "What are you gonna do, hit me? Please. I'd own this school by lunch. My mom would have you arrested, sued, and blacklisted from every district in the state." "I'm not going to hit you," Harper said. "I'm going to do something much worse." "Yeah, what's that?" Harper smiled for the first time. "I'm going to tell the truth." She pulled out her phone, ending the recording she'd started the moment they'd entered her classroom. Destruction of property, assault, harassment, threats, all on video, all with witnesses. Derek's face went white. "You can't record without consent." "Actually, I can. School policy allows recording in cases of suspected violence or harassment. Page 12 of the student handbook your mother approved last year." Connor lowered his phone. "Dude, we should go." "She's bluffing," Derek snarled, but uncertainty crept into his voice. "Am I?" Harper pulled up her email. "This is going to Principal Morrison, the school board, the superintendent, and the state education department." "Oh, And the local news might be interested in how the mayor's son treats female teachers. The election's in 3 weeks, right? You wouldn't dare. Watch me. She hit send. Your move, Derek. The silence stretched like a held breath. Harper could see him calculating, weighing his options. She'd studied him like any opponent, knew his patterns, his weaknesses. Rich boys like Derek relied on intimidation and institutional protection. Take those away, and they were just bullies, throwing wild punches. This isn't over, he finally said. No, Harper agreed. It's just beginning. They left, Connor pulling Derek away before he could do something stupider. Harper stood alone in the hallway, surrounded by broken glass and the ruins of her classroom. Her hands were steady, her breathing calm. The first round was over, but she knew the real fight was coming. Her phone buzzed immediately. Principal Morrison wanted to see her. Now. Harper picked up her dented trophy, feeling its familiar weight. She'd won it fighting 3 matches in one day, including a final against a girl 40 pounds heavier who'd been favored to win. Nobody had given her a chance. Nobody thought the quiet girl from the wrong side of Chicago belonged in that ring. She'd proved them wrong then. She'd proved them wrong now. The principal's office was exactly what she'd expected. Wood paneling, leather chairs, and photos of Morrison with various Vaughn family members. He sat behind his desk, looking like a man with a migraine. "Miss Sinclair," he began, "I've received your email. These are serious allegations. They're not allegations. They're facts. I have video evidence." Morrison winced. "Yes, well, perhaps we can handle this internally. Derek is young, passionate. Sometimes athletes get carried away. I'm sure if you spoke with him, accepted his apology, he destroyed my classroom and assaulted me. Assault is a strong word." Harper set her phone on his desk and played the video. Morrison watched Derek shove her, his face growing paler with each second. "I see," he said when it finished. "This is unfortunate. That's one word for it. Miss Sinclair, you have to understand, the Vaughn family has been part of this community for generations. They've done tremendous good. One incident—" "It's not one incident." Harper pulled out her folder. 3 weeks of documented harassment, vandalism, threats, sexist comments, academic dishonesty. It's all here. Morrison flipped through the pages, his expression cycling between discomfort and calculation. Harper could see him weighing options, the scandal of protecting Derek versus the wrath of the Vaughn family. "What do you want?" he finally asked. "I want to teach without being harassed. I want students held accountable regardless of their last name. I want Westbrook to actually follow its own code of conduct." "Those are admirable goals." The door burst open. Jessica Vaughn strode in like she owned the place, which technically her family did. Behind her, Derek skulked with practiced innocence. "Robert," she said, ignoring Harper entirely, "what's this nonsense about my son being recorded without permission?" "Actually," Harper interjected, "I was just showing Principal Morrison the video of your son assaulting me." Jessica's perfectly made-up face turned to Harper with the kind of contempt reserved for servants who spoke out of turn. "You must be confused. Derek tells me you attacked him." "Then Derek is lying." The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. "How dare you?" Jessica hissed. "Do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do to your career? I know you're a woman defending a son who thinks assault is acceptable because his victim is female." Harper replied, I expected better. Jessica's laugh was sharp as breaking glass. You expected better. You're nobody. A diversity hire who can't handle normal teenage behavior. Normal, Harper stood. Your son destroyed my classroom. He threw my property through a window. He put his hands on me. If that's normal in your family, you have bigger problems than my expectations. Robert, Jessica turned to Morrison. Fire her, now. Morrison shifted uncomfortably. Jessica, there's video evidence. I don't care if there's a signed confession. This girl is done. This girl has a name, Harper said. And a contract, and evidence of assault. Fire me. And the lawsuit will make headlines from here to Washington. Mayor's family covers up school assault. That'll play well during election season. Derek stepped forward. You threatening my family? I'm promising consequences, Harper replied. New concept for you. I know. You little, Derek started forward, but his mother caught his arm. Enough, Jessica said, but her control was slipping. Robert, you have 24 hours to resolve this. Make her go away, or the board will find someone who will. She swept out, Derek trailing behind after shooting Harper a look that promised retribution. Morrison slumped in his chair. You've made a powerful enemy. I've stood up to a bully. There's a difference. Not in Cedar Heights, there isn't. He sighed. Look, take a few days off. Let things cool down. I'll talk to the Vaughns, smooth things over. I'm not taking time off. I'm not backing down. And I'm definitely not letting you sweep this under the rug like every other time Derek has crossed a line. How did you? Teachers talk. Principal Morrison, I know about the girl who transferred after Derek cornered her in the chemistry lab. I know about the male teacher who quit after challenging Derek's plagiarism. I know this isn't the first time, and unless someone stops it, it won't be the last. Morrison's face had gone gray. You don't understand how things work here. Then maybe it's time things changed. Harper left his office knowing she'd crossed a line. The Vaughns wouldn't let this go. They'd come at her with everything they had. Lawyers, connections, the full weight of their influence. But Harper had learned long ago that the hardest fights were worth winning. In the ring. She'd faced opponents with longer reach, heavier hands, better training. She'd won by being smarter, tougher, and more willing to take punishment to land the perfect shot. This was no different, except now she was fighting for more than a trophy. She was fighting for every female teacher told to smile and accept harassment, for every student who learned that money meant immunity, for the principle that nobody, no matter how rich or connected, was above consequences. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number had sent a text. You're going to regret this. We're just getting started. Harper smiled grimly. They had no idea who they were dealing with. She'd taken harder hits from 12-year-olds at her father's gym. The war for Westbrook Academy had begun, and Harper Sinclair was ready for round 2. As she walked back to survey her destroyed classroom, she passed the shattered trophy case. Her state championship trophy still lay among the broken glass, dented but unbroken, like her. She picked it up, feeling its weight, remembering the girl who'd won it against all odds. That girl had grown into a woman who wouldn't back down, wouldn't shut up, and wouldn't let bullies win. Tomorrow would bring new battles. The Vaughns would escalate. Principal Morrison would waffle. The school would choose sides. But tonight, Harper had landed the first real blow, and in boxing, like in life. Sometimes, that's all it takes to change everything. The next morning, Harper arrived at 5:45 a.m. to find her parking spot occupied by a massive construction dumpster. A yellow notice taped to it read, "Classroom renovation by order of the school board, effective immediately." And her destroyed classroom wasn't being repaired, it was being erased, along with any evidence of yesterday's attack. "Clever," Harper muttered, parking in the visitor's lot. The Vaughns were already moving pieces on their chessboard. Inside, she discovered her belongings boxed and stacked in a musty storage room behind the gymnasium. A handwritten note from Principal Morrison directed her to temporary accommodations, a windowless conference room that smelled like old coffee and defeat. "They think I'll quit," Harper said to herself, unpacking her rescued books. "They don't know Southside girls." Her first period students found her despite the room change. Word had spread about yesterday's confrontation, and the atmosphere crackled with nervous energy. Some students avoided eye contact, clearly warned by their parents to stay neutral. Others watched her with something new, respect mixed with worry. "Before we discuss Fitzgerald," Harper began, "let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, there was an incident yesterday. Yes, I'm still your teacher. And yes, we're still having our test on Friday." A brave hand rose. Mackenzie Chen, one of her brightest students. "Miss Sinclair, is it true Derek threw your trophy through the trophy case?" "That's being addressed through proper channels," Harper replied carefully. "Now, who can tell me about the symbolism of the green light?" But focus proved impossible. Halfway through class, the fire alarm blared. As students filed out, Harper noticed Derek standing by the alarm pole, making sure she saw his smirk. "Oops," he mouthed. 4 more false alarms disrupted the morning. Each time, Derek or one of his teammates happened to be nearby. Security did nothing. Principal Morrison was mysteriously unavailable. During lunch, Harper sat in her windowless room, eating a sandwich and planning her next move. Her phone rang, her father calling from Chicago. "Baby girl." His gravelly voice carried the warmth of 1,000 boxing lessons. "Heard you're having some trouble." "How did you—" "Your cousin saw something on social media. Some boy named Derek posting about putting a female dog in her place. You okay?" Harper smiled despite everything. "I'm fine, Dad. Just dealing with a bully who thinks money means immunity." "Want me to come down there, have a talk with this punk?" "No, Dad. I've got this." "I know you do." She could hear his pride. "Remember what I taught you. Control the center of the ring," Harper recited. "Make them come to you, and when they overextend, you counter with everything you've got." He finished. "That's my girl." "Oh, and Harper. That boy's mother called here looking for dirt on you. Offered to make a donation to the gym if I shared anything embarrassing." Harper's blood chilled. "What did you tell her?" "That my daughter's the toughest fighter I ever trained, and she better pray you stick to using words instead of fists." After hanging up, Harper realized the Vaughns were digging for ammunition. They'd find her father's gym in a rough neighborhood, her mother's death when she was 12, the student loans, the tiny apartment. They'd paint her as an unstable charity case who didn't belong at Westbrook. A knock interrupted her thoughts. The door opened to reveal an unexpected visitor. Eleanor Walsh, Westbrook's 70-year-old librarian and an institution unto herself. "May I?" Eleanor entered without waiting, her silver hair perfect despite the chaos of the day. "I brought tea. Earl Grey, you look like you need it." Harper accepted the delicate china cup, wondering what the school's longest-serving employee wanted. "I taught Jessica Vaughn," Eleanor said without preamble, entitled little brat even then. married the mayor for his money, and raised a son in her image. I've watched that family poison this school for 20 years. Why are you telling me this? Eleanor's eyes, sharp behind wire-rimmed glasses, fixed on Harper. Because you're the first teacher in a decade with the spine to stand up to them, and because I have something you need. She produced a thick manila folder from her bag. Every incident involving Derek Vaughn since freshman year. Every complaint buried. Every victim silenced. Every cover-up orchestrated. I've been documenting it all, waiting for someone brave enough to use it. Harper flipped through the pages, her anger building with each report. 12 different incidents. 3 teachers who'd quit or been fired after challenging Derek. 5 female students who'd transferred. A janitor terminated after reporting vandalism. This is, Harper couldn't finish. A pattern of behavior enabled by money and power, Eleanor supplied. But patterns can be broken if someone's willing to take the heat. Why didn't you? I'm 1 year from retirement, Eleanor admitted. My husband has cancer. I need the insurance. But you're young, strong, and from what I hear, you know how to fight. Harper looked at the older woman with new respect. You know about the boxing. Dear, I know everything that happens in this school, including the fact that Connor Bradley's video from yesterday shows Derek assaulting you, not the other way around. Connor was recording. Eleanor smiled. Teenagers can't resist documenting their own stupidity. He posted it to his private account, thinking he was safe. But nothing's private from a librarian who teaches computer literacy. She handed Harper a flash drive. The video, plus screenshots of Derek's social media posts plotting yesterday's attack. Rather damning. Really. Harper felt the tide beginning to turn. Mrs. Walsh, this is justice, Eleanor said firmly. Long overdue. And after Eleanor left, Harper spent her free period organizing the evidence into a comprehensive file. She was so focused, she almost missed the sound of footsteps in the empty hallway. Almost. Boxing had taught her to sense danger. The approaching steps were too heavy, too purposeful. Harper quickly uploaded everything to cloud storage, then slipped her phone into record mode just as Derek and 4 teammates entered her makeshift classroom. No cameras this time, Derek announced, as one of his friends jammed the door with a chair. Just a friendly conversation. Harper stood slowly, assessing the situation. 5 against 1. Door blocked. Isolated location. They'd planned this. Derek, you're making things worse for yourself. Worse. He laughed. My mom's calling an emergency board meeting tonight. You'll be fired by 8 p.m. But first, I wanted to deliver a message personally. He moved closer, his friends spreading out to flank her. Harper recognized the formation. They'd done this before. See, you embarrassed me yesterday. Derek continued. Made me look weak in front of everyone. That doesn't fly here. So you're going to apologize, on your knees, and beg me to forgive you. That's not happening. No. Derek's smile was predatory. Boys, I think Miss Sinclair needs help understanding her position. Connor Bradley, the one who'd filmed yesterday, shifted uncomfortably. Derek, man, maybe we should… Shut up, Connor. You're either with us or against us. Harper watched Connor's face, saw the conflict there, a crack in Derek's army. Connor, she said calmly, you don't have to do this. You're better than this. Don't talk to him, Derek snapped. Talk to me. Better yet, beg. I don't beg bullies, Harper said. I beat them. Derek's face flushed. You think you're tough, fine. Let's see how tough." He lunged forward, expecting her to retreat. Instead, Harper pivoted, using his momentum against him. Her father had taught her that boxing wasn't just about punching, it was about positioning, balance, and making your opponent defeat themselves. Derek stumbled past her, crashing into desks. His friends started forward, but Harper held up her hand. "Think carefully," she said. "Assault on school property, multiple witnesses. Do you really want to add criminal records to your college applications?" They hesitated. In that moment of uncertainty, the door burst open despite the chair blocking it. Eleanor Walsh stood there with Campus Security Officer Reynolds and, surprisingly, 3 female students including Mackenzie Chen. "Interesting study group," Eleanor observed dryly. "Officer Reynolds, I believe these young men were just leaving." Derek scrambled to his feet. "This isn't, we were just talking." "We saw everything," Mackenzie said, holding up her phone. "Nice try blocking the door. But you forgot the window in the supply closet connects to this room. We filmed it all." Harper felt a surge of pride. Her students had learned the lesson. Document everything. Protect each other. Stand up to wrong. "You little—" Derek started toward Mackenzie, but Officer Reynolds stepped between them. "That's enough. Mr. Vaughn, you and your friends need to come with me." As they were escorted out, Derek shot Harper a look of pure hatred. "This isn't over. My mother will be very interested in this video," Eleanor finished. "Along with the school board, the superintendent, and perhaps the local news. Elections are so unpredictable when scandals break, aren't they?" After they left, Harper found herself surrounded by her students. "Miss Sinclair," Mackenzie said, "we couldn't let them corner you alone. You stood up for us. We stand up for you." "How did you know?" Connor texted me. Another student, Ashley Martinez, admitted. He felt guilty about yesterday, said Derek was planning something stupid. Harper looked at these brave young women who'd risked Derek's wrath to help her. "Thank you, all of you." "We're not done," Mackenzie said. "We have a plan." That evening, the emergency board meeting convened in the school auditorium. Jessica Vaughn had pulled every string to pack it with supporters, business owners, country club members, people who owed the Vaughn family favors. Harper sat in the front row, professionally dressed and calm despite the hostile atmosphere. Principal Morrison avoided her eyes. The 5 board members looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. "This emergency session has been called to address the conduct of Miss Harper Sinclair," Jessica announced from the podium, having appointed herself spokesperson. "In her 3 weeks at Westbrook, she's created a hostile environment for our students, particularly my son." Murmurs of agreement from her planted supporters. "She's exhibited violent tendencies, made false accusations, and shown clear bias against student athletes. We demand her immediate termination." Harper noticed movement in the back of the auditorium. Students were filing in, dozens of them, led by Mackenzie Chen and Eleanor Walsh. They carried signs, "We stand with Miss Sinclair." "Stop protecting bullies. Justice for all students." Jessica's face tightened. "This is a closed session." "Actually," Eleanor said loudly, "board meetings are public unless specifically voted otherwise. I don't recall such a vote." The board members exchanged glances. One of them, Dr. Patricia Williams, spoke up. "Mrs. Walsh is correct. The students may stay." More people entered. Parents Harper didn't recognize. Teachers who'd remained neutral. Even some athletes from teams other than football. The atmosphere shifted as Jessica's supporters found themselves outnumbered. Furthermore, Eleanor continued, "I believe there's evidence the board needs to see before making any decisions. She connected a laptop to the projection system. The first video showed Derek throwing Harper's trophy through the case. The second showed him and his friends cornering her today. Then came screenshots of social media posts, messages planning harassment, Derek bragging about making teachers quit. The auditorium fell silent except for Jessica's sharp intake of breath. "This is inadmissible," she sputtered. "Obtained without consent." "Wrong," said a new voice. A woman in a sharp suit entered. "I'm Sarah Martinez, attorney for the State Education Association. Everything shown was either posted publicly or recorded in accordance with school safety policies. Very admissible." Harper blinked in surprise. She hadn't called a lawyer. Sarah caught her eye and winked. "The association takes attacks on teachers seriously, especially when there's a pattern of gender-based harassment." "This is ridiculous," Jessica snapped. "One spoiled teacher, 15. Eleanor interrupted. 15 teachers and staff members bullied, harassed, or terminated after crossing the Vaughn family. She clicked to a new slide showing the documented pattern. 23 students who transferred rather than continue enduring Derek's behavior. A culture of intimidation that's poisoned this school for years. Parents began murmuring, many looking shocked. Some pulled out phones, likely texting students to ask if they'd experienced similar treatment. Dr. Williams cleared her throat. "Mrs. Vaughn, these allegations are extremely serious. They're lies." Jessica's composure cracked. "Jealous gossip from people who resent success." "I can corroborate every incident," said a man standing up in the crowd. Harper recognized him as James Morrison, the principal's brother and a science teacher. "I've watched Derek terrorize students since he was a freshman. Watched my brother cover it up to keep his job. I'm done being silent." More voices joined in. Teachers, staff, students, even some parents shared stories of Derek's bullying and the administration's refusal to act. The dam had broken. Through it all, Harper remained quiet, letting the truth speak for itself. This was what she'd fought for, not personal vindication, but systematic change. Connor Bradley stood up, his face pale but determined. "I was part of it," he admitted. "I filmed students being humiliated, helped Derek cheat, stayed quiet when he hurt people. But Miss Sinclair showed me that standing up to wrong is possible, even when it costs you." He looked directly at Derek, who sat beside his mother, radiating fury. "I'm done being your accomplice. I've given all my recordings to the police." "You little traitor!" Derek started to rise, but Officer Reynolds placed a firm hand on his shoulder. Sarah Martinez addressed the board. "The Education Association is prepared to file a federal lawsuit regarding the systematic violation of Title IX protections, creation of a hostile work environment based on gender, and failure to protect students from documented harassment, unless immediate corrective action is taken." The board members huddled in whispered conference. Jessica Vaughn stood frozen at the podium, watching her carefully constructed world crumble. Finally, Dr. Williams spoke. "The board moves to place Derek Vaughn on immediate suspension pending a full investigation. We further move to censure Principal Morrison for failure to address documented harassment, and we formally apologize to Miss Sinclair for the treatment she's received." "You can't," Jessica began. "We can, and we will," Dr. Williams said firmly. "Furthermore, Mrs. Vaughn, your position on this board is now under review, given your apparent attempts to cover up your son's behavior." The auditorium erupted in applause. Students hugged each other. Teachers who'd suffered in silence smiled for the first time in years. Harper finally stood. May I address the board?" Silence fell. "What happened to me wasn't unique," she said. "It was symptomatic of a culture that prioritizes wealth and athletic success over safety and education. That culture ends now." She looked at her students. "You showed more courage tonight than most adults manage in a lifetime. You stood up not just for me, but for everyone who's been silenced. That's the real lesson here, that change happens when good people refuse to stay quiet." Then she turned to Jessica and Derek. "Your son needs help, Mrs. Vaughn, not protection, not excuses, actual help to address his behavior before it escalates beyond school bullying. I hope you love him enough to get him that help." Derek's sneer faltered for just a moment, revealing the insecure boy beneath the bully's mask. As the meeting disbanded, Harper found herself surrounded by colleagues and students. Principal Morrison approached hesitantly. "Miss Sinclair, I owe you an apology. I failed in my duty to protect both you and our students. I'll be recommending you for our open department head position, if you'll stay." Harper considered. "On 3 conditions. 1. Implementing mandatory anti-bullying training for all staff. 2. Establishing an anonymous reporting system for harassment. 3. Eleanor Walsh oversees all investigations." "Done," Morrison agreed quickly. Eleanor appeared at Harper's elbow. "Well fought, my dear. Your father would be proud." "You talked to my dad." Eleanor's eyes twinkled. "Who do you think called the Education Association? Your father has connections from training half the judges and lawyers in Chicago. He said his daughter was fighting bullies and needed backup." Harper laughed, feeling the tension of weeks drain away. She'd won not through violence, but through truth, courage, and the power of community standing together. As she walked to her car, she passed the repaired trophy case. Someone had placed her dented state championship trophy in the center, polished and prominent. A small placard read, "Harper Sinclair, champion in and out of the ring." Her phone buzzed with a text from her father. "Knew you'd knock 'em out, baby girl. Your mom would be proud, too." Harper smiled, touching the trophy through the glass. She'd come to Westbrook to teach literature, but she'd ended up teaching a more important lesson, that bullies only have the power we give them, and that one person standing up can inspire dozens to do the same. Tomorrow, she'd return to her repaired classroom. She'd teach Fitzgerald and Hemingway and all the rest. But she'd also continue the real education, showing students that integrity matters more than influence, that courage beats cash, and that sometimes the smallest fighter wins the biggest battles. The war for Westbrook Academy was over. The rebuilding could begin. And Harper Sinclair, teacher and fighter, would be there every step of the way, proving that real strength isn't about throwing punches. It's about knowing when to stand your ground and refuse to move. 6 months later, Harper stood in her sunny corner classroom, the one with windows overlooking the courtyard where students ate lunch without fear. The walls displayed student artwork, literary quotes, and a small photo of her father's boxing gym that reminded her daily where she came from. "Miss Sinclair?" Mackenzie Chen knocked, despite the open door. "The dedication ceremony is starting." Harper followed her student to the gymnasium, where the entire school had gathered. The old trophy case had been replaced with something new, the Eleanor Walsh Honor Wall, recognizing students and teachers who showed exceptional courage and integrity. Derek Vaughn's name was notably absent from any displays. He'd transferred to military school after completing court-mandated counseling. His last email to Harper had been brief, "Thank you for stopping me before I became someone worse." Jessica Vaughn had resigned from the board and divorced the mayor after discovering he'd been embezzling from the very charities she'd used to buy influence. Principal Morrison introduced Harper as Westbrook's new Dean of Student Affairs as she took the podium. She saw her father in the front row, wearing his only suit and beaming with pride. "Every fight," Harper began, looking at her students, "starts with someone brave enough to step into the ring. Today, that's all of you." The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. As the applause died down, Harper noticed a figure standing by the gymnasium doors, a young woman in a crisp business suit, nervously clutching a folder. "I'm Rachel Morrison." She introduced herself after the ceremony. "Principal Morrison's daughter. I graduated from Westbrook 5 years ago." Harper waited, sensing there was more. "Derek Vaughn assaulted me junior year." Rachel continued, her voice steady despite trembling hands. "My father convinced me not to report it, said it would ruin my future. I've carried that silence like a stone." She handed Harper the folder. "Testimony from 12 other alumni, women who suffered in silence. We want to establish a survivor support fund in your name." Harper felt tears prick her eyes. "It shouldn't be in my name. You're the brave ones." That evening, as Harper packed up her classroom, she found a package on her desk. Inside was a new boxing trophy, not for fighting, but for teaching. The inscription read, "To the teacher who showed us that real strength is standing up for others." She placed it next to her old championship trophy. Now restored and gleaming, 2 different fights, same warrior's heart. Outside her window, students crossed the courtyard freely, no longer looking over their shoulders. Harper smiled. This was her greatest victory, a school where fear had been replaced by courage, silence by truth. The bell rang. Tomorrow's lessons awaited.